Yin Shu parked her Porsche sideways, right at our company's entrance. The roar of the engine was as arrogant as its owner. I was squatting on the curb with my colleague, Old Zhang, munching on a jianbing. Old Zhang nudged my arm. Zhang fan, look at that car. Damn, it's flashy. I didn't even look up. None of our business. Let's finish up and go upstairs, or we'll be late for the morning meeting. Then I heard the click-clack of high heels stopping in front of me. A whiff of expensive perfume mixed with the smell of my 5 yuan jianbing. A bizarre combination. Chewing on my jianbing, I followed the pair of ridiculously expensive-looking leather shoes upwards with my eyes. Straight-leg trousers, a perfectly tailored white shirt, and a cold, beautiful, yet familiar face. Yin Shu, the daughter of our company's biggest client. The woman who had reamed me out during her inspection last week. I nearly choked on my jianbing. Old Zhang had already scrambled to his feet, at a loss for what to do. Ms. Yun, what brings you here? Yin Shu ignored him. Her beautiful eyes were fixed on me. Zhang fan. I struggled to swallow the bite of jianbing. Ms. Yun, is there something I can help you with? She lifted her chin slightly, her tone as casual as if she were commenting on the weather. I'm here to pick you up from work. The half-eaten jianbing in Old Zhang's hand fell to the ground with a splat. I was dumbfounded too. Ms. Yun, it's only 8:30 in the morning, and I just fucking gotta work. She frowned slightly. Then what time do you get off? 6 in the evening. That's too late. She took out her phone. I'll call your boss and ask for a day off for you. I quickly stopped her. Don't. Ms. Yun, what on earth are you trying to do? A crowd of curious colleagues had already gathered around, whispering and pointing. Yin Shu glanced at them. Wherever her gaze fell, there was instant silence. And she looked back at me. Her voice wasn't loud, but it was clear enough for everyone to hear. Zhang fan, I've taken a liking to you. Starting today, I'm pursuing you. My mind went blank. Old Zhang's mouth was hanging open wide enough to fit an egg. Yin Shu completely ignored the reactions around her. She pointed to her flashy sports car. Get in. I'll take you to breakfast. This kind of street food is unhealthy. I looked down at the rest of the jianbing in my hand, then back at her. Ms. Yun, have you got the wrong person? This wasn't her attitude last week. Back then, the project presentation I was in charge of had a small glitch. In front of the entire project team, she had said with a stone-cold face, You're Zhang fan, right? If your abilities aren't up to par, I suggest replacing you. The way she looked at me was as if she were looking at trash. So what was this all about? Yin Shu seemed to know what I was thinking. The corners of her mouth curved up. I didn't get the wrong person. It's you. Scolding you last week was strictly business. Pursuing you today is a personal matter. My temples started to throb. Ms. Yun, I don't think we know each other well. She nodded. So let's get acquainted, starting now. From behind her, our department manager came running over, drenched in sweat. Ms. Yun, why didn't you let us know you were gracing us with your presence? Yin Shu waved a hand dismissively. Managerly, I'm borrowing Zhang fan for the day. Any problem with that? The manager bowed and scraped. No problem. Absolutely no problem. Little Zhang, just go with Ms. Yun. We'll count it as you being out on field work today. Me? Yin Shu turned to me, satisfied. Can you get in the car now? I looked at the manager's sycophantic expression, then at Yin Shu's look of absolute certainty. A nameless anger flared up inside me. I stuffed the last bite of my jianbing into my mouth. I'm not going. My project isn't finished. If you have nothing better to do, Ms. Yun, please don't block our company's entrance. There was a dead silence all around. The manager's face turned pale. Yin Shu was taken aback for a moment. Then she smiled. Not the cold smir from last week, but a genuine laugh, as if she found something truly amusing. Fine. She turned and got in her car. The Porsche's engine let out a low growl. The window rolled down. She looked at me. Zhang fan, you will say yes. The sports car sped off, leaving a cloud of dust. It left me and a crowd of bewildered colleagues behind. Old Zhang tremblingly picked up the jianbing from the ground. Buddy, since when did you? I wiped my face. If I told you I have absolutely nothing to do with her, would you believe me? Old Zhang's expression was complicated. Do I look like an idiot? You don't. You don't. I was on edge the entire day. The phone at my desk rang nonstop. The receptionist's voice was filled with suppressed excitement. Jiang Fan, more flowers for you. This was the third bouquet today. A huge, flashy bouquet of blue roses. On the card, just two printed words. Yin Shu. Every colleague who passed my desk stopped to stare. Damn, Fan impressive. Keeping on the down low. I explained until I was blue in the face. No one believed me. The manager specifically called me into his office. He clapped me on the shoulder. Jiang, my boy, I never expected you, and CEO Yun. Heh. From now on, make sure you put in a good word for the company with Yunda. My head throbbed. Manager, it's really not what you think. The manager gave me an I get it look. Young man, it's good to be discreet. Discreet, my ass. The moment work ended, I was the first one out the door. I had to pick up my little sister, Jiang Xiaonan, from kindergarten. My parents passed away early, leaving just my sister and me to rely on each other. Xiaonan is 5 this year, and she's my only weak spot. Just as I reached the kindergarten gate, I saw that familiar Porsche. Yin Shu was leaning against the car. She had changed into casual wear, looking less sharp and more approachable? Bullshit. She was holding a giant rainbow lollipop. My heart skipped a beat. Xiaonan was already skipping towards her. Pretty lady. Yin Shu crouched down and handed her the lollipop. Her smile was dazzlingly gentle. You must be Xiaonan, right? Has your brother mentioned me to you? Xiaonan nodded emphatically. Brother, said a very mean lady scolds him. Yin Shu. I rushed over and pulled Xiaonan behind me. CEO Yun, did you investigate me? You even know which kindergarten my sister attends. This woman is terrifying. Yin Shu stood up. It's perfectly normal to understand a potential partner's family situation. You call this normal? She ignored my anger. Xiaonan is very cute. Xiaonan peeked out from behind me. You're really pretty too, big sister. The little traitor. Yin Shu smiled. How about I take you for some ice cream? Okay. I held Xiaonan back. No. She needs to go home for dinner. Yin Shu looked at me. Then let's all go have dinner. I know a nice kid-friendly restaurant. Xiaonan's eyes lit up. Brother, I want to go. Clear the hair. No. Her little lip trembled, and tears welled up instantly. Mean brother. Yin Shu bent over and scooped Xiaonan up. The movement was unnervingly practiced. Then I'll take you, and we won't bring your brother. Xiaonan's tears turned to laughter. Okay. A chill ran down my spine as I watched them. Yin Shu. It was the first time I'd said her name without a title. Whatever you want, you come to me. Leave my sister out of it. The smile on her face faded. Jiang Fan, I just want to treat you two to a meal. Xiaonan had her arms wrapped around her neck. Please, brother. I looked at my sister's hopeful eyes. Then at Yin Shu. There was an emotion in her eyes I couldn't quite read. In the end, I gave in. Just one meal. The kid-friendly restaurant Yin Shu mentioned was absurdly expensive. Xiaonan had never been to a place like this, and her little face was flushed with excitement. She ran off to the play area on her own. That left just me and Yin Shu at the table. I got straight to the point. CEO Yun, what is it you really want? She cut her steak slowly, deliberately. I've told you. I'm pursuing you. Why? Just last week you thought I was useless. She put down her knife and fork. Precisely because you're not. That screw-up during the project presentation wasn't your fault at all. Your project manager changed the requirements at the last minute and didn't tell you. I froze. How did you know that? I looked into it. She said it casually. You took the blame, but you didn't say a word to defend yourself. I found that special. I let out a bitter laugh. Just because of that. Is that not enough? CEO Yun, I really can't comprehend the way you rich people think. She leaned forward slightly. Jiang Fan, give me a chance. 3 months. If you still don't like me after 3 months, I promise I'll never bother you again. I looked at her. This woman had money, looks, everything. The line of men pursuing her could probably stretch to France. So why on earth was she fixated on me? Do I have a choice? She smiled. No. Xiaonan came running back, hugging a pile of toys. Big sister. They have a photo booth over there. Yin Shu gently stroked her head. All right, let's go take some pictures. She looked at me. Coming. I stayed put. You two go ahead. Watching Yin Shu and Xiaonan's smiling faces squeeze together in the photo booth. My thoughts were a tangled mess. This woman was too dangerous. She knew my weakness, and she wasn't afraid to use it. The next day at work, the way everyone in the company looked at me had changed. Gossip spread faster than a virus. I heard CEO Yin picked up Jiang Fan from work yesterday. And they even had dinner together? There's more. She even won over his little sister. Damn, he's a kept man playing hard to get. I buried my head in my work, pretending not to hear. My manager called me in, a huge smile on his face. Little Jiang, Yenda has a new project, and they specifically requested you to be in charge. I frowned. Manager, I haven't finished the project I'm currently on. No problem, no problem. Just hand it over to someone else. This new project is quite urgent. You should report to Yenda today. I understood. This was them serving me up on a platter to Yinshu. When I arrived at the Yenda Group headquarters, the receptionist led me directly to the top floor office. Yinshu was in a meeting. The secretary told me to wait in her office. I sat on the sofa, feeling completely out of place. This office was bigger than our company's conference room. The floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked half the city. Sorry to keep you waiting. Yinshu pushed the door open and came in. A few executives followed behind her, still reporting on their work. They all paused for a moment when they saw me. Yinshu waved her hand. You can all leave first. The executives gave me a complicated look and quietly exited. Yinshu took off her suit jacket, revealing a silk blouse underneath. Have you thought about it? I played dumb. Thought about what? About giving me a 3-month chance. I haven't agreed to it. She didn't get angry. She walked to her desk and picked up a document. Then let's talk business first. For this project, you're the core technical personnel. For the next 3 months, we will need to coordinate closely. I took the document and glanced at it. It was indeed within my area of expertise, and it was a rare, major project. CEO Yun, business is business, and personal is personal. She raised an eyebrow. Of course, I can tell the difference. During the project, you will report directly to me. We will coordinate on work for at least 8 hours a day, including weekends. I took a deep breath. You're mixing business with pleasure. She smiled. Where's your proof? I can perfectly well explain this as the project being extremely important and requiring high-intensity input. I was speechless, the face of a capitalist. And what if I don't accept this project? She leaned against the edge of her desk, her long legs crossed. Then, that would be a breach of contract. Your company signed an exclusivity agreement with Yunda. If you pull out unilaterally, the penalty for breach of contract is... She named a figure. A chill went down my spine. That was more money than I could earn in a lifetime of working. You did this on purpose. She leaned down, getting closer to me. That scent of perfume washed over me again. Yes, I did it on purpose. Jiang Fan, you can't escape. I shot to my feet. CEO Yun, if there's nothing else, I'll go report to the project team now. She straightened up. Let's have dinner together tonight. I'm Buse. Little Nan said she wants to have the chocolate fountain from that restaurant. I stopped in my tracks. Don't use my sister again. She walked up to me. I genuinely like Little Nan. Besides, can you bear to disappoint her? That trick again. But I had to admit, it was effective. Ever since Little Nan came back yesterday, she hadn't stopped talking about Sister Yinshu. During dinner, I tentatively asked Little Nan, what do you think of Sister Yinshu? Little Nan's eyes sparkled. She's super nice. So pretty and gentle. And she bought me lots of yummy things. I stroke her head. What if your brother doesn't like her? Little Nan tilted her head. Why wouldn't you like her? Sister Yinshu is so nice. A child is too young to understand the complexities of adults. After putting Little Nan to bed, I sat alone in the living room, dazed. My phone lit up. It was a WeChat message from Yinshu. What do you want for breakfast tomorrow? I'll bring it for you on my way. I stared at the message and didn't reply. A moment later, she sent another one. Does Little Nan like those little bear cookies from last time? I managed to buy them. I still didn't reply. 3 minutes later, Jiang Fan replied to my message. I sighed. CEO Yun, it's very late. She replied instantly. Not asleep yet. Thinking of me? I almost threw my phone. I'm thinking about work. Liar. Think whatever you want. What do you want for breakfast tomorrow? The topic had circled back. Not eating. I'll just buy something then. Don't come block me at the company. Then wait for me at the entrance to your residential complex. I put down my phone and rubbed my temples. This woman was completely incapable of taking a hint. The next morning, I deliberately left half an hour early. As soon as I reached the entrance of the residential complex, I saw the Porsche. Yinshu was leaning against the car, a paper bag in her hand. Morning. I walked over with a sense of resignation. How did you know what time I'd be leaving? She smiled. Guessed. Inside the paper bag were still warm soy milk and buns. From a shop I always go to. You investigated even this? Her expression was natural. I saw you buy them last time. I froze. When? Last week at 7:30 in the morning. Back then, she was still being sarcastic and cold to me. So she's had her eyes on me for a while. A chill ran down my spine. Yin Shu, you're being creepy. She pulled open the passenger side door. Get in. I'll take you to work. No thanks, I'll take the subway. It's on the way. It's not. She raised an eyebrow. I say it's on the way, so it is. I looked at her. Are you this pushy with everyone? She shook her head. Only with you. Why? Because you're worth it. The project kickoff meeting was scheduled in Yunda's largest conference room. As the technical lead, I needed to give the opening presentation. Yun Shu sat at the head of the table in a black suit, her presence commanding. Seated below were Yunda's executives and core technical staff. Many were familiar faces who had seen me get chewed out last time. Now, they all looked at me with complicated expressions. I took a deep breath and began to explain the plan. There were a few technical challenges midway, and I explained the solutions in detail. I could see the expressions of several senior engineers below change from disdain to approval. After I finished, the conference room was silent for a few seconds. Then, Yin Shu led the applause. Very good. She looked at the others. Any questions? A middle-aged man with glasses raised his hand. Engineer Zhang's plan is theoretically feasible, but won't the actual implementation cost be too high? I was about to answer. Yin Shu spoke first. Director Wang, the project department has already calculated the costs. They are within a controllable range. On the technical side, we listened to Engineer Jiang. Director Wang opened his mouth but said nothing more. After the meeting, Yin Shu stopped me. Let's have lunch together and discuss the follow-up details. The executives nearby, who hadn't left yet, all perked up their ears. I frowned. CEO Yun, I can just coordinate the details with the project team. She closed her laptop. I take this project very seriously. I need to follow up on it directly. Or are you not confident in your own plan? Me? There she goes again. In the end, I still went with her to a restaurant near the company. A private room, just the two of us. After ordering, she took out a tablet. What do you think about the cost issue Director Wang brought up earlier? I was taken aback for a moment, really talking about work. The actual implementation can be done in phases. The initial investment will be higher, but in the long run. I explained it in detail. She listened intently, occasionally asking a few professional questions. This meal was much more professional than I had imagined. Just as we were about to finish, she suddenly said, I'm picking up Xiao-Nan tonight. I nearly choked on a sip of water. What? Xiao-Nan said she wants to see the ice sculpture exhibition. I promised her. I put down my cup. Yin Shu, don't you think this is going too far? Using a 5-year-old child? Her expression cooled. I'm not using her. I genuinely want to be good to her. By what right? By the right that I like you. So, I have to like your sister too. She said it with such confidence. I was speechless. That evening, I still went to the ice sculpture exhibition. Xiao-Nan was incredibly excited, pulling Yin Shu's hand and running all over the place. I followed behind, watching their backs. Yin Shu was dressed casually today, in a beige down jacket, her scarf wrapped snugly. Occasionally, she would glance back at me, her eyes shining. For a moment, I almost felt like we were a real family of 3. Brother, hurry up. Xiao-Nan waved at me. Yin Shu was also looking at me, smiling. Xiao-Nan took my hand with one of hers, and Yin Shu's with the other. Let's take a picture together. Yin Shu leaned in naturally. The shutter clicked. In the photo, Xiao-Nan was smiling happily. So was Yin Shu. Only my expression was stiff. On the way home, Xiao-Nan was so tired she fell asleep in the car. Yin Shu drove, and I sat in the back holding Xiao-Nan. While waiting at a red light, she looked at me through the rearview mirror. Did you have fun today? I looked out the window. CEO Yun, can we talk? Go ahead. What is it exactly that you like about me? I'll change it. She chuckled lightly. I like everything. You can't change it. I sighed. We are not from the same world. I'm a corporate drone who squeezes onto the subway and eats street pancakes. You're a high society lady who drives a Porsche and dines at Michelin restaurants. A gap like this can't be erased by a simple "I like you." The light turned green. She started the car. Jiang Fan, is this low self-esteem? I froze. What? If it's not low self-esteem, why do you care about these things? I've never felt we were any different. I let out a frustrated laugh. That's because you're the one standing on high. Of course you don't feel any difference. She was silent for a moment. Fine. Then what if I told you that I've also squeezed on a Subways and eaten street pancakes? I was stunned. What? I was thrown abroad to live alone at 16. My family froze all my cards. I've worked as a waitress, a delivery driver, and lived in a basement. At my poorest, I ate nothing but bread crust for a month straight. Her voice was very calm. Later, I got into an Ivy League school on my own, secured my first round of investment, and built a successful business. Only then did my family acknowledge me again. So, Jiang Fan, don't think of me as some high society lady who has never known hardship. I have suffered. I know what life is like. And it's precisely because I know that I understand how precious you are. I was completely speechless. This was a completely different Yin Shu from the one I thought I knew. The car stopped downstairs from my apartment. She turned to look at me. Her gaze was serious. Now, do you still think we're not from the same world? I didn't sleep well all night. The things Yin Shu said played over and over in my mind. When I got to the office in the morning, old Zhang sidled up to me. Bro, you're trending. My heart skipped a beat. What? Old Zhang handed me his phone. It was a photo posted by a local gossip account. A group picture of me, Yin Shu, and Xiaonan at the ice sculpture exhibition. The caption read, heir to the Yin Corporation suspected of being secretly married with a child. Identity of the man remains a mystery. My scalp tingled. The comments section had already exploded. Holy crap, Yin Shu has a kid. Who's this guy? He looks so ordinary. I heard he's a programmer at some small company. Must be a kept man, right? Old Zhang looked at me cautiously. Is it true? I handed the phone back to him. It's fake. Xiaonan is my little sister. Realization dawned on old Zhang's face. Then, isn't President Yun going to clarify this? I rubbed my temples. I don't know. My phone rang. It was Yin Shu. Did you see the news? Yeah, I'll handle it. Her tone was very calm. I'm sorry for the trouble this has caused you and Xiaonan. I hadn't expected her to apologize. How are you going to handle it? I've already had the legal team send out a cease and desist letter. Also, I'm holding a small press conference at noon to clarify things. I breathed a sigh of relief. Okay. At noon, I was eating in the company cafeteria. The TV was broadcasting Yun Shu's press conference live. She was wearing a business suit, sitting on the stage, her presence powerful. Regarding this morning's false reports, I would like to make a solemn clarification. The little girl in the photo is Mr. Jiang Fan's younger sister. Mr. Jiang Fan and I are currently dating with the intention of getting married. I spat out a mouthful of soup. The entire cafeteria fell silent in an instant. Everyone looked at me. On the TV, Yin Shu was still speaking. Our relationship is very stable. Thank you for your concern. I will not be responding to any further questions of this nature. The reporters erupted. President Yun, may I ask when the wedding date is set? President Yun. The live broadcast was cut. My phone began to vibrate violently. WeChat phone calls had exploded in an instant. I turned it off. I rushed back to my desk, opened my computer, and sent an email to Yin Shu. Are you crazy? She replied instantly. This is the most effective way to handle it. Admitting to a relationship is more easily accepted by the public than an explanation. Besides, I'm telling the truth. My hands were shaking with anger. What truth? When were we ever dating? With the intention of getting married? She replied, from the moment I said I was going to pursue you. My goal has always been marriage. Therefore, it is the truth. I immediately dialed her number. Yin Shu, I'm here. Her voice held a hint of a smile. You're forcing my hand. Yes. She admitted it without hesitation. Jiang Fan, I don't want to waste any more time. I'm giving you two choices. 1. Admit that you're my boyfriend. 2. I continue to pursue you until you admit it. I gritted my teeth. Is there a difference? Ido. With the former, you can enjoy the treatment of a boyfriend. With the latter, you can only continue to be harassed by me. I hung up the phone. I slumped onto the desk, wanting to die. The manager walked over, beaming. Little Jiang. Oh no, President Jiang. Why didn't you tell us about such great news sooner? The company has decided to promote you. How about project director? Me? When work ended, Yinshu's car was once again parked at the company entrance. This time, she didn't get out. I ignored her and walked straight towards the subway station. The car slowly followed beside me. The window rolled down. Get in. I ignored her. Jiang Fan. The whole company is watching. I turned my head. Sure enough, the windows of the company building were filled with people. I took a deep breath, pulled open the car door, and got in. Satisfied, she smiled and handed me a box. A gift to make amends. I glanced at it. It was the newest model of a gaming console. How did you know? I looked at your Steam wish list. My anger completely dissipated. Yinshu, what on earth do you want? She started the car. I want to be good to you. I want to make you happy. I want to be able to see you every day. Her expression was very serious when she said these things. I leaned back in the seat, looking out the window. What if I never come to like you? She was silent for a moment. Then that's on me for not being capable enough. It's not your fault. In the following days, Yinshu indeed intensified her efforts. Every morning, without fail, she appeared at the entrance of my residential complex. At lunch, we would inevitably run into each other. She would arrive on time to pick me up after work. The entire company tacitly acknowledged our relationship. Even Xiaonan started calling her Sister Yinshu instead of Pretty Sister. The project progressed smoothly. Yinshu was truly professional at work and gave me a lot of support. Those few people, like Director Wang, who were initially unconvinced, were now polite to me. I knew how much of this was thanks to Yinshu. Friday night was the celebration dinner for the first phase of the project. Yinshu came too. Everyone was very reserved. She, however, was very natural and took the initiative to raise her glass. Everyone has worked hard during this time. The follow-up bonuses will be distributed as promised. The atmosphere instantly became lively. Director Wang led the toast to her. President Yin can really hold her liquor. She didn't refuse anyone, drinking one glass after another. I sat next to her and couldn't help but say in a low voice, "Drink less." She turned to look at me, her eyes bright. "Are you concerned about me?" I turned my face away. "I'm afraid you'll be trouble if you drink too much." She chuckled lightly. "Don't worry, I can handle my alcohol well." But as it turned out, she had overestimated herself. By the time the party ended, she could no longer stand steadily. I had no choice but to support her. "Where's your driver?" I gave him a day off. She leaned against me, her breath warm. "You take me home." I frowned. "I'll get you a taxi." "No." She wrapped her arms around my arm. "I want you to take me." My colleagues were all watching, their gazes ambiguous. I had no choice but to stuff her into a taxi. In the car, she fell asleep leaning on my shoulder. Her long hair fell across my neck a little itchy. The way she looked asleep was much softer than usual, not so aggressive. Instead, she seemed a bit fragile. When we arrived downstairs from her apartment, I shook her awake. "We're here." She groggily opened her eyes. "What time is it?" 11. She sat without moving. "Jiang Fan." My head hurts." I sighed. "I told you to drink less." I got out of the car and helped her into the elevator. Her place was on the top floor, a duplex frighteningly large. The decor was minimalist, cold, and lacked a lived-in feel. I placed her on the sofa. "Do you want some water?" She nodded. I went to the kitchen to pour some water. When I returned, she was already sitting up. Her gaze was a bit clearer. "Thank you." I put down the glass of water. "If there's nothing else, I'll be leaving." She grabbed my wrist. "Stay with me a little longer." Her hand was very hot. "Yinshu, you've had too much to drink." "I'm not drunk." She stood up and walked in front of me. "Jiang Fan, our 3-month agreement. How much time is left?" 2 weeks. What do you think of me?" I averted my gaze. "You're great. But we're not right for each other." She laughed. That same old line again. "Jiang Fan, do you dare to admit it? That you've actually started to like me a little?" My heart skipped a beat. "I haven't." "Liar." She moved closer to me. "Then why don't you dare to look at me?" I raised my head and met her eyes. It was too close. I could clearly see her long eyelashes, and the reflection of me in her eyes. "Yinshu." She suddenly stood on her tiptoes and kissed me. A very light kiss. tinged with the smell of alcohol. I froze on the spot. She pulled back a little, looking at me. How about now? Do you like me a little? My mind went blank. You? She kissed me again, deeper this time. I subconsciously wanted to push her away, but my hand stopped in midair. Her lips were very soft. Her breath was very warm. I actually didn't hate it. After a long while, she let me go. Her cheeks were flushed. Her eyes were glistening. Jiang Fan, you like me? It was a statement, not a question. I opened my mouth but couldn't speak. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was from Xiao Nan's kindergarten teacher. Mr. Jiang, Xiao Nan has a high fever. We've already sent her to the hospital. My mind buzzed. Which hospital? My hand was trembling when I hung up the phone. Yin Shu immediately asked, what's wrong? Xiao Nan has a high fever and is hospitalized. I turned and rushed toward the door. She snatched the car keys. I'll drive you. You've been drinking. I'll call a designated driver. She dialed a number while following me into the elevator. The few dozen seconds it took to go downstairs felt exceptionally long. I stared intently at the elevator's floor numbers. Yin Shu took my hand. Don't be afraid. It's common for children to get fevers. Her palm was very warm, but I still pulled my hand away. The designated driver arrived quickly. Yin Shu gave the hospital's name. As fast as possible. Any speeding tickets are on me. We were silent for the entire ride. I just stared at the rapidly retreating streetscape outside the window. My palms were sweaty. At the hospital entrance, I rushed out before the car had even come to a complete stop. I ran to the emergency room. Xiao Nan was lying on a hospital bed with an 4 drip. Her little face was flushed from the fever. The teacher was watching over her. Mr. Jiang, what did the doctor say? Acute pneumonia. She needs to be hospitalized for a few days for observation. My legs went weak. Yin Shu supported me. Go handle the paperwork. I'll watch Xiao Nan here. I nodded and ran to the payment office. There were fewer windows open for the night shift, and the line was very long. I kept looking at the time, anxious. Yin Shu walked over. Give me your ID. She went straight to the front and said a few words to the first person in line. The person nodded and let her go ahead. She quickly finished the procedures and came back. The room is arranged. A private one. I looked at her. Thank you. She shook her head. Let's go to the room first. A nurse was in the process of moving Xiao Nan to her new room. Xiao Nan groggily woke up for a moment. Seeing me, she softly called out, Gidge, brother. Then she saw Yin Shu, and her eyes curved into a smile. Jiejia's sister is here too. Yin Shu stroked her head. Yes, Jiejia is here with you. By the time we had settled Xiao Nan in, it was already 2 in the morning. The teacher went home first. Only the 3 of us were left in the hospital room. Xiao Nan was asleep, her breathing a little more stable. I sat by the bed, watching the 4 drip fall drop by drop. Yin Shu went out and bought coffee. She handed a cup to me. I'll stay here with you tonight. You don't have to. You should go home and rest. You can't manage all this alone. She sat down on the sofa nearby. I can sleep here. I looked at the fatigue under her eyes. Thank you for everything today. She smiled. I should. Later that night, Xiao Nan's fever spiked again. A nurse came and changed her medication. Yin Shu and I stayed up with her. Neither of us closed our eyes. At dawn, Xiao Nan's temperature finally came down. Yin Shu ordered breakfast delivery, a light congee and some side dishes. Eat something. I was indeed hungry. I took the congee and slowly ate it. She sat across from me, eating in small bites. The morning light shone in through the window, falling on the side of her face. For a moment, I thought this is quite nice. It's Saturday today. I've already requested leave for you from the company. I was taken aback for a second. The project. I'll handle it. She put down her spoon. You just focus on taking care of Xiao Nan for the next few days. Let me know if you need anything. I lowered my head and drank my congee. I've already troubled you enough. It's no trouble. Her voice was very soft. I'm happy to do it. She was hospitalized for 3 days. Yin Shu spent every day running between the company and the hospital. She brought toys and picture books that Xiao Nan liked. Even the nurses thought she was Xiao Nan's mother. Xiao Nan was discharged on Thursday afternoon. The doctor instructed her to rest at home for a few days. Yin Shu drove us back. When we got home, we found several large boxes stacked by the door. What are these? Yin Shu opened the door. An air purifier and a dehumidifier. Didn't the doctor say to pay attention to the air quality? She started unboxing and setting them up on her own. I watched her back as she knelt on the floor, studying the instruction manual. A certain place in my heart softened. Shaoan and tug on my hand. Gage, Sister Yin Shu is so nice. I didn't say anything. I made a few dishes in the evening to thank Yin Shu. She ate happily. I didn't expect your cooking to be this good. I got good at it from taking care of Xiao Nan by myself. She put down her chopsticks. You won't have to be alone anymore. My hand, holding the soup ladle, paused. Yin Shu. These 3 months. There's still a week left. She looked at me. Do you want to end it early? I shook my head. I just wanted to say. The doorbell suddenly rang. Who could it be at this hour? I got up to open the door. Outside stood a lavishly dressed, middle-aged woman. Her features somewhat resembled Yin Shu's, but she was more imperious. When Yin Shu saw her, her expression changed. Mom! The atmosphere in the living room instantly dropped to freezing. Yin Shu's mother surveyed my small apartment, the disdain in her eyes unconcealed. Finally, her gaze landed on me. You're Jiang Fan? I nodded. Hello, Annie. She ignored me and looked directly at Yin Shu. Come home with me. Yin Shu stood still. I told you I'd handle my own affairs. Handle them? By associating with this kind of person? What kind of person is this kind of person? Yin Shu's voice grew cold. Mom, watch your words. Yin Shu's mother sneered. I've had you investigated. A graduate from an ordinary second-rate university, a programmer at a small company. Parents died early, dragging along a burdensome younger sister. Yin Shu, what do you see in him? I clenched my fists, then relaxed them. Xiao Nin peeked her head out of her room. Brother. I walked over and shielded her. Auntie, if you have something to say, let's talk outside. There's no need. She took out a checkbook. Name your price. Leave my daughter. I looked at the blank check and suddenly found it hilarious. Have you been watching too much TV? Her face darkened. Young man, don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Yin Shu snatched the checkbook and tore it to pieces. Mom, that's enough. I think you're the one who's had enough. Mixing with someone like this, what does it look like? My relationship is none of your business. I'm your mother. That doesn't give you the right to control my life. The mother and daughter were at daggers drawn. I stood in the middle, like a superfluous piece of furniture. Finally, Yin Shu pulled me by the hand. Let's go. Her mother roared from behind. Yin Shu, if you walk out this door today, don't even think about coming back to the Yin family. Yin Shu's steps paused for a moment. Then she pulled me out the door with even more determination. The night wind downstairs was cold. Yin Shu was still in her loungewear and shivered a little. I took off my jacket and gave it to her. Was that really necessary? She wrapped the jacket tightly around herself. I'm sorry. You don't have to apologize. Yes, I do. She looked up at me. I didn't expect her to be like this. I sighed. She's right. I'm really not good enough for you. Jiang Fan. She suddenly raised her voice. I won't let you say that. It's the truth. Bullshit truth. Her eyes turned red. I like you. That's the biggest truth. I looked at her reddened eyes. All the words caught in my throat. In the end, I just said, let's go upstairs first. It's cold out here. She shook her head. I'm going to a hotel. Don't be difficult. I'm not being difficult. She took out her phone to call a car. You take good care of Xiao in these next few days. I'll handle wrapping up the project. The car arrived. Before getting in, she suddenly turned and hugged me. Very tightly. Jiang Fan, don't give up on me. The car drove away. I stood in the night wind, not moving for a long time. For the next week, Yin Shu didn't appear again. We occasionally contacted each other on WeChat, all about work. The project concluded smoothly. The company gave me a generous bonus. My manager hinted that it was a special instruction from CEO Yun. Old Zhang said that their contact person at Yunda had been changed. I heard CEO Yun had a falling out with her family. She's been suspended from her position. I stared at the computer screen, an indescribable feeling in my heart. After work, I went to pick up Xiaonan. She asked several times why big sister Yin Shu hadn't come by. I didn't know how to answer. On Friday night, I received a package. It was from Yin Shu. Inside were a property deed and a share transfer agreement. And a letter. Jiang Fan. When you read this letter, I should be on my way to the airport. My family arranged a marriage for me. I refused. As a price, I have given up everything from the Yun family. These are the assets under my own name. They are clean, and have nothing to do with the Yun family. Leave them for Xiaonan. Take care of yourself. Don't miss me. Yin Shu. I called her phone. It was already turned off. I took a taxi to her apartment. The property management said she had already moved out, standing downstairs where she used to live. I looked up at the dark window. A piece of my heart was empty. When I got home, Xiaonan was already asleep. On the table was a photo of her and Yin Shu, smiling so happily. I picked up my phone, sent Yin Shu a WeChat message. Where are you? A red exclamation mark. She had deleted me. 3 months ago, I couldn't wait for her to disappear. Now she was truly gone. And I realized I seemed to have gotten used to someone bringing me Jianbing Guizi every morning. Used to someone fighting with me to pick up Xiao Nan. Used to someone nagging me to rest earlier when I worked overtime. Used to that strong yet gentle woman crashing into my life and leaving so freely. Another week passed. Life returned to its track. Work, get off work, pick up Xiao Nan. Just that sometimes I would subconsciously look at my phone, waiting for a call that would never come again. Lao Zhang said Yun Da had completely cut ties with the Yun family. The newly appointed CEO was Yin Shu's cousin. What a pity. President Yun was so capable. I stared blankly at the code. The project manager came to talk to me. Xiao Jiang, the people at Yunda want you to take charge of a new project. The pay is excellent. I shook my head. No, I have too much on my plate with my current projects. The manager hesitated. Actually, President Yin left specific instructions before she left. To take good care of you. I froze. When did she say that? Just last week, when she came to the company for the handover. Why didn't anyone tell me? President Yin said not to. I rushed out, ran to the Yunda Tower. The receptionist was new. I'm looking for Yin Shu. President Yin has already resigned. I know. Did she leave any contact information? The receptionist checked. Sorry, no. I walked out dejected. The sunlight was a bit harsh. My phone rang. It was Xiaonan's teacher. Mr. Jiang, Xiaonan is missing. My scalp tingled. What do you mean missing? She was here during the nap, but just now we found she wasn't in her bed. We're looking for her now. I rushed to the kindergarten as fast as I could. The teachers were searching everywhere. The surveillance footage showed Xiaonan had slipped out of the kindergarten on her own. She was walking in the direction of home. I searched along the road, calling her name. My heart was in a panic. I finally found her under the slide at the park. I often took her to. The little girl's eyes were red and swollen from crying. Brother, I rushed over and hugged her. You scare me to death. Why did you run out by yourself? She sobbed. I miss Sister Yin Shu. You said Sister Yin Shu loved to come here. I thought I might run into her. My nose stung. Silly girl. Brother, does Sister Yin Shu not want us anymore? I held her tighter. No. It's that brother is too stupid. After taking Xiao Nan back to the kindergarten, I made a decision. Took time off, bought a plane ticket. I knew where Yin Shu was. She had mentioned that when she was sent abroad at 16, she lived in a place called Cherry Street. She said it was the darkest and also the brightest place in her life. The darkest because she was poor. The brightest because she met a kind old landlady. If one day I have nowhere to go, I will definitely go back there. A 13-hour flight. I found Cherry Street using the address. It was a very ordinary street. The old landlady still lived there. Looking for Yin? She's not here. My heart sank. Has she been here? She came last week, stayed for a few days, and then left. Do you know where she went? The old lady shook her head. But she left a letter. She said if a Chinese boy came looking for her, I should give it to him. The letter was brief. Jiang fan, if you're reading this letter, it means you have feelings for me. I'm very happy, but you don't have to look for me. I have nothing now and can't give you anything. Take good care, Xiaonan. Yin Shu. I crumpled the letter, standing on a foreign street. For the first time, I understood what it felt like to have your heart cut like a knife. After returning to the country, I quit my job. I used all my savings to open a studio, doing my old trade, software development. It was hard at first, but it slowly picked up. Half a year later, the studio actually started to turn a profit. I bought a cheap car to make it easier to pick up and drop off Xiaonan. Life seemed to be back on track, except no one parked a Porsche horizontally at my company's entrance anymore. Lao Zhang would occasionally come by for a visit. You're really not going to look for her? I tapped at the code. Where would I look? The Yin family is such a big enterprise. You can always find out something. I shook my head. If she wants to appear, she will. If she doesn't, there's no point in finding her. Lao Zhang Sai. Look at you. When she was chasing you, you wanted nothing to do with it. Now that she's gone, you're acting like this. I said nothing. Some things you only learn to cherish after you've lost them. It's a cliche, but it's true. Xiaonan started elementary school. At the parent-teacher conference, the teacher praised her for being well-behaved. She's just a bit introverted, doesn't quite fit in. I looked at Xiaonan sitting alone in the corner. My heart ached. She was still thinking about Yinshu. I took Xiaonan to the amusement park on the weekend. She was on the carousel. Suddenly, she pointed into the distance. Brother, that looks like big sister Yinshu. I followed her gaze. It was just a girl with a similar back. It's not her. Xiaonan lowered her head in disappointment. That night, as I was tucking her in, she asked in a small voice, Brother, will big sister Yinshu come back? I stroked her head. Brother doesn't know. If big sister Yinshu comes back, will you marry her? I froze. Why do you ask that? Because on TV, they say people who like each other get married. I turned off the light. Go to sleep. Lying in bed, tossing and turning. Finally, I took out my phone. I opened my chat history with Yinshu. It was still paused before she deleted me. Jiang Fan, you like me? I stared at that sentence. I typed and deleted and typed. Finally, I sent a message. Yeah, Ido. The expected red exclamation mark appeared. I tossed the phone aside and pulled the covers over my head to sleep. The studio landed a big project. The client's demands were high, so I led the team myself. After a solid week of overtime, we finally finished. The celebration dinner was at a restaurant we often frequented. My colleagues joked that I should treat them to the most expensive things. I smiled and agreed. While ordering, the waiter recommended a new dish. This cherry duck breast is a new creation by our head chef. The chef highly recommends it. I froze. Cherry Street. What's your head chef's name? Her surname is Yun. Chef Yun. I shot up from my seat. Knocking over the chair, I rushed towards the kitchen. The waiter shouted from behind me, Sir, you can't go into the kitchen. I paid him no mind and pushed open the kitchen door. A wave of heat hit my face. Among the busy chefs, there was a familiar figure in an apron, plating a dish. Her hair was tied up with fine beads of sweat on her forehead. She was thinner than I remembered, but it was really her. Yinshu. She looked up and saw me, and froze for a second. Then she continued what she was doing. Go out and wait. I stood there, motionless. Yinshu. She put down the plate, gave a few instructions to her assistant, took off her chef's hat, and walked over. This isn't the place to talk. In the alley behind the restaurant, she leaned against the wall and lit a cigarette. How did you find me here? A coincidence. She exhaled a puff of smoke. How's Xiaonan? She's good. She started elementary school. And you? I opened a studio. It's doing okay. Silence. I watched her profile as she smoked. Why did you become a chef? She smiled. A girl's gotta eat. The Yin family. I've cut ties with them. She flicked the ash from her cigarette. Now I truly have nothing. So you were hiding from me? Not hiding. She looked at me. I was too ashamed to see you. Back then, I was so sure I was going to pursue you. And this is what I've become. I took a step forward. You think I care about any of that? She backed away. Ikare. Jiang Fan, I can't give you anything now. I don't even have a decent car. The apartment I live in is rented. I'm working part-time in a restaurant. How can someone like me be worthy of you? I laughed. That sounds really familiar. She froze. Yinshu, do you remember? You once said you never felt we were any different. Now, I'm saying the same thing back to you. She lowered her head. It's different. How is it different? I had money back then. I could help you. Now it's my turn to help you. I lifted her face. Yinshu, I'm going to ask you one last question. Do you still like me? Her eyes turned red. Ido. I always have. Then that's enough. I kissed her. The taste of smoke was a bit bitter, but her lips were very sweet. The cigarette in her hand fell to the ground. She slowly started to kiss me back. After a long while, we parted. She leaned against my chest. Jiang Fan, I regret it. I should have just tied you up and married you back then. I held her tighter. It's not too late now. Yinshu moved back in. Xiaonan was overjoyed. She clung to her all day long. The studio's business got better and better. I asked Yinshu to come and help. Her business skills were truly impressive. 6 months later, the studio grew into a small company. We moved into a proper office building. Yin Shu was in charge of business, and I was in charge of tech. We worked together perfectly. Occasionally, people from the Yin family would come looking for her. She avoided them all. There's no need, she said. Life is good now. At the end of the year, the company made its first pot of gold. I bought a ring and proposed on her birthday. There was no romantic setup. Just at home, during dinner, Xiao Hanan was cheering on the side. Say yes. Say yes. Yin Shu smiled and held out her hand. It's about time. The wedding was simple. We just invited a few friends. Lao Zhang was the witness. On our wedding night, Yin Shu leaned in my arms. Did you know? When I was first chasing you, I imagined this day. I played with her hair. When did it start? The first time I saw you. That early? She smiled. You came to demonstrate the project. Your white shirt was old from washing, but it was very clean. There was a light in your eyes when you talked about the technical proposal. I thought to myself, I have to have this man. I held her tighter. Good thing you didn't give up. She looked up at me. Jiang Fan. Yeah. Have I ever told you? What? That Jianbing Wuzi is actually pretty delicious. I froze for a moment, then burst out laughing. Should we go buy some tomorrow morning? Okay. Outside the window, the moon was very round. Just like the night she came to find me a year ago. Except this time, we finally didn't miss each other.